some people, their approach to life can be a limiting factor. Your approach also matters. Like, how would you approach situations? Always see problems as things that you can solve. I might not be able to solve it now, maybe not in the next 5 years, maybe not the next 10 years, but I will solve the problem. Right?
Welcome to theBLOcounsel, where we talk about everything personal development and business development. On this episode, we will dive into the Naijaprenuers segment, where we discuss with Nigerian entrepreneurs, their journey, struggles, and lessons learned on their path to success.
So I don't want to specifically go because the challenges I face might not be the challenges you face, right? You know your different use case, but all problems look the same. All problems are the same if you don't go beyond those problems, right? And also some people, their approach to life can be a limiting factor. Your approach also matters. Like, how would you approach situations? Always see problems as things that you can solve. I might not be able to solve it now, maybe not in the next 5 years, maybe not the next 10 years, but I will solve the problem, right? Because I remember talking about a business idea that I had when I was quite like really little. I still have not done the business, but I am wiser. And when I eventually will start, when I garner enough experience and enough details and enough wisdom, because most of you forget that life is a journey, that you cannot solve a problem now does not mean that you won't solve it tomorrow, right? So if you know you're actively doing stuff that's making you better, it will only matter of time before those problems will be less troublesome. Just say sorry if I'm taking too much time.
No. We are learning from you.
You could say, when you were younger, a teenager now, to get an iPhone might have been a humongous task, but now you can buy a new one if you want to. Not now, because price of phones are cut neck literally. But now it's not a big deal, right? It's like, so because you were younger, you thought it was big, but now that you have grown past that, it's quite small. That's the same way.
Reachable.
Yeah, that's the same way. Maybe running $1 million business right now to you might seem like it is. I can't do that. I don't know how to do that, but maybe in 2-3 years of constant work and growth on yourself, it could be something that is reachable, right? So yeah, I think that's what I want to say about challenges.
And thank you so much for because I like the fact that you're able to go into it like in depth, because sometimes you can have a conversation and then we're speaking about challenges and we're not really, but I like the fact that you're able to speak about the challenges, talk about some of the ways to also overcome those challenges and all that. And the part where you mentioned the analogy of, you have 50 meters and then you want to jump on your 30 meters. I think that's also very, very, very important for people to hold on to, because for me, I always say, people's income does not far exceed their personal development level.
Yep.
So
spot on.
When you are worried that, I'm not making money, I'm not this, that's not the problem. The problem is you need to upgrade yourself.
Yeah. Like this you said, it's something I always say. Like, you could learn $1 million skill, doesn't mean you make $1 million. You have to be worthy of $1 million. Some people just get the skills, they don't build themselves. And it's not just about having what to do. Do you know how to do it?
Exactly. No, we are spot on. So I like that. And, I want our audience to take that, very, very seriously, because, you can't, you can't escape from the personal development. It's like, when they say, someone makes a lot of money today and then they lose all the money. But if you've developed yourself to a certain level, you make the money back.
Actually.
So it's not the money that's actually the issue. It is you that is the problem. You have to become that person that can make that amount of money that you want.
So like somebody used to say, you shouldn't go up because you come down. If you grow up, there's no down to come to, because
interesting. Yeah. So that's where that makes sense. And now let's just and I want us to take a little bit more into that personal development space, because I think a lot of young entrepreneurs and young people who want to start a business, because sometimes I think maybe the word entrepreneur might sound too big, but really it's just starting a business, really, something that can earn you money. And I think, people focus so much on the outside. I always say there's something we call the circle of influence. The circle of influence, these are the things that are within your own influence range. And this is where personal development comes in, things you can do to get better. But we notice that, of course, a lot of people focus more on those challenges that are outside, the things that, they have little or no control over. You hear some people complaining about the government and economy and all these things that even if they change today, what difference does it really make? Really, like really, maybe just a little bit of difference. So, in your personal development journey as a person, I wanted to still touch on some of those things that you do, or maybe things that you fall back to, that help you to overcome the daily challenges. If there's anything specific that you can, maybe one or two things that maybe you meditate, maybe just take some time out, or maybe there are books that you read, just for people to like learn something in that angle.
All right, great. I mean, it's like giving advice, really. Somebody said that sometimes the problem is not like piggybacking on what you said. It's not the lack of resources. Sometimes lack of being resourceful about the resources that are available. So it's a mental state that I think everybody should get to, where they don't focus so much on the things that you cannot control, or focus on the things that you actually can. So one of the ways that I help, better myself, because life will always be full of challenges, is, trying to prepare against what could go wrong, or to prepare against the things that might go wrong. It keeps you, some people say they're anxious people, they're always thinking, overthinking. That can also be a superpower, right? For the fact that you can think, don't now think and focus on the negative. Think, as we have thought of all the things that could go wrong, also think of the ways you can subvert them if they actually go wrong. So it's finding out what your strengths are, being confident in your own person. This is who I am. These are the things I can handle. A lot of people I've looked at based on the people that I know, but majority of people are not self-aware. They don't know what works for them. They don't know what gets them tired. They don't know what gets them tick. They don't know what triggers their emotions. And if you don't know yourself, you're already setting yourself up for failure. Absolutely. So one of the things that helps me is that to an extent, it's a process. I'm not there yet. Let me not sound like one old man. I'm just a young man, right? So one of the things that helps me is that I'm constantly learning. And it's a mindset that we should have, constantly learning. Yes, I do meditate, and I read books too. I give myself information and I try to apply those information to context. Some people don't like reading because they don't see how reading has value to them. But I'm here to tell you that every book that you read,
can you imagine?
There are some people that think like that. Every book that you read you are getting mentally sharper. You are getting more articulate. How can you say you want to make it in Nigeria and don't know how to communicate? Some people don't know how to communicate. Like, it's not just about talking. Some people know how to talk, but you don't know how to communicate. I mean, case studies, we have friends that are beefing, that the beef could have been solved if you just knew how to communicate.
True.
And when you read materials, you read books, you listen to other people's story and experiences and other people's wisdom, you can actually make yourself a better person. And if you are a better person, your business will be a better business, right? So that's one of the ways that I think people can, look at that angle of reading, of, getting information to better yourself, not just getting information to better your business, because your business will not grow more than you.
Absolutely.
Right. So getting information to better yourself, and also seeing challenges as things that are constant. If there's ever some people live in a fairy tale world, they believe that maybe they are supposed to be the wife of one rich man or the husband to one rich, and because of that, there's a place in their head where they shouldn't be working. Like maybe there's one reality where they dream of, where you just wake up in the morning, there's millions of dollars to do whatever I want. That's a facade. Even if eventually does happen, you get bored. Case study of 2020, everybody was saying they needed to rest. Okay, we were all rested in 2020. 3 months in, I want to see who I'll go and visit. So some people have that mindset, and because of that, when they see work, there's already that initial, I don't want to do this thing. Okay. But when you think in your head that this work has to be done, that initial is gone. And then you're already on your way to solving and surmounting the issue. So if you think that there's a reality in your head where you don't have to do this work, you won't give it 100%. See it as, this is my life. Right?
Sure.
This is what I have to do. I'm not saying you do that thing forever, right? You probably have plans on, because I think if you work and make money, your quality of life should increase. Shouldn't be a case where you are making a lot of money and your quality of life is declining. That's the problem. You are prioritizing the wrong things, right? So if you know that this work is what you have to do, that initial, because stress has triggers. That outlook is also the beginning of stress. where you want to go somewhere and you're just like, I'll be stressed. You're already stressed. But if your mind is fixed on the fact that, oh, this is a challenge I need to overcome, a problem I need to solve, it's easier that way, right? And you only get there from, personal development and celebrating small wins. When you overcome a challenge, celebrate it. It might not be a big deal to the world, but it's a big deal to you.
Of course.
And then when your mind can form like pathways that, identify reward systems, it's easier for you to go ahead for the kill. That's why in ancient times, when maybe a man hunts an animal, they give him the biggest share. Oh, you kill the animal, come and take. So you feel like, I want to go back and kill another one. Right? They throw a party, you carry the lion's head. Maybe they celebrate him and he feels, good.
I can do more.
And he wants to go again. But some of you have wins and it's nothing. That's why you are not excited to go for the other ones. Right? So don't negate all those small wins. Even if it's a small promotion in the office or a habit that you just picked up and is really good, or just, that stuff actually does help you, get motivation to do more. And also one more thing, don't ignore your emotions, right? Motivation basically is, your ability, it draws from your emotion. There's a lot of emotional energy that the same way a guy maybe that's emotionally invested in a lady, nobody needs to tell you to go. You just be doing things because it touches your emotions. Human beings are emotional people. And some people ignore it and wonder why they feel burnt out all the time. I'm not saying it's possible to feel burnt out, but if you feel burnt out all the time, that's a problem. So people don't pay attention to their emotions and it's a problem. I think you should actually find out the things that trigger your emotions and try and create an environment where, you can stay optimal, right? It won't just fall on your lap. I mean, be honest, what has ever fallen on your lap, really?
Maybe rain.
Even that maybe somebody prayed for it somewhere, you don't even know. So nothing really has ever fallen on your lap. You were not just chilling and wow, lucky. Wow, I didn't even know how I got here.
Even the rain, you have to still go out.
I will touch you. So, you should just get more intentional about the things that can, slow you down and find ways to surmount it. So that's
I think, I'm actually excited at some of the things that you're saying because, and maybe I may be a little bit disconnected from, the outside world sometimes. I always mention that, but I'm one of those people that I try to, as much as I know my strengths, I also know my weaknesses. And it's very, very important to know the weakness,
You're self-aware, sir.
Yeah. So, it's, I think in these times, especially, with the economy of Nigeria, some of the things you're saying are the type of things that people should be hearing because things are difficult and things are like, everywhere. And a lot of people are discouraged. People are getting more discouraged every day. But when people are able to hear that, oh, I can still work on myself. I can still get better. If people know that there's always going to be difficult times, they won't be so crazy when difficult times come.
Yeah.
And these are just the natural way life works. I don't think there's anyone that has had success all their life. There's always like that, like the waves. So I'm very happy that you touched on those things that, people can actually do, how they can think. I know you mentioned something about the thoughts too. I always say that, as a man thinketh, so he becomes. So, and it's also important that, we need to also be aware of what we're thinking because a lot of people don't even take that into consideration, And most times our subconscious is already programmed to think in certain ways.
Yeah.
But we need to start finding ways to, reprogram some of those think the right way, and some of the things that you mentioned are also those. And, again, thank you so much for sharing those things.